YouTube, this is Havoc. Welcome to Havoc's Tech Corner. Now you're probably guessing, well, what's Havoc's Tech Corner? Well, actually something sparked my interest the other day. I was actually surfing around YouTube, checking some things out, and I came across this young English gentleman who was probably about 14, I'd have to say, who was saying he was a tech guru and something of that nature, and he was talking about how you can get around your school's filters to watch YouTube. Awesome, that's great. However, most schools now have a blocking technique that will actually block you from this technique his technique that he was saying. And the technique he was saying was get rid of the www dot to confuse the server. Now, yeah, you can do that, but most of the time it does not work. Okay, bottom line is it doesn't work. I'm actually getting my tech degree right now myself. As a networking technician or a computer technician. I worked on computers for years. Today I'm actually going to show you two of my laptops. I have a PC that I built personally. I built two PCs of my own. My gaming tower is in my other room. That's a little big, and I want to drag it in here. I'm going to show you two of my iPods. Next episode I might show you my two digital SLR cameras because I do a lot of photo. You already know I have a Canon HG10 high definition camera, which is actually what I'm coming to you from today. Anyways, that's what sparked my interest, was this young gentleman who was talking about how he can get around his school's filters. Now the thing is it's great that you know that knowledge, but it doesn't always work. You need to be careful with that, because what happens is in a tech lab, everybody has, either you have a sign-in, and regardless, even if you don't have a sign-in, the computer you sit at has an IP address. Now the IP address, if you don't know what an IP is, most people do that know about computers, the IP address is like the identification of that computer. Every computer has an IP address. Even an iPod Touch has an IP address. So anytime you log on to a website or log on to a network, it will show that IP address logging onto that network. And if you go to a website such as YouTube on your school's computer, it will show IP 10.7.843 or whatever has gone to YouTube, and they can block you. And if you have a sign-in, they know who you are. So you want to be careful when you do that. You can get around it. There's a lot of other ways to get around it. I'm not telling you how to get around it. I'm sure there's a lot of videos out there will show you. Today, though, I'm going to show you a couple of objects that I have personally, technology-wise. And in the next couple of episodes, I'll explain, different objects that I own, different pieces of technology that I own. But first today I'm going to tell you about two of my laptops, my PC laptop and my Mac, and I'm going to show you my two iPods, alright, for the first episode. First I'm going to start off with the two iPods. I'm going to go get one of them real quick. This is your standard iPod Classic. Okay, you've seen these, everybody's had them before. Or if you haven't owned an iPod, this is your standard iPod Classic. This is my work iPod. I take this one to work with me in case something happens and it breaks, something like that. I have an iPod Touch, which I will show you momentarily. But this is a classic iPod. They are showing, they're actually a lot cheaper than what they used to be. So if you need a, MP3 player or something to hold video or photos on, this is a video iPod. Go out and get yourself one of these. I think the cheapest one is $150 for this style of one. You can get, I think, an iPod Nano for less than that. I'm going to show you next, though, the next step in iPod technology, which is basically an iPhone without the phone. One moment. Ta-da! iPod Touch. Okay. So I'm going to turn this guy on. See the little Apple symbol? And the iPod Touch, as you can tell, is a little bit thinner than the general iPod used to be. This is a 16 gig, not the 32 gig. I got this right before Christmas. Actually, not too far before I showed you that one video because I had it sitting on my truck. This is your iPod Touch. Go to Safari because I have it linked up to my Apple my Apple router that I have in my other room, hooked up to my gaming PC. And as you can tell, there you go, you're online. You turn it this way, It's got a mechanism that actually makes it horizontal. You can do things like this. Close it in. Spread it apart. You want to get closer and go back in like that. It has gestures, which is what Apple calls them. Turn it back up this way, and it goes back to the horizontal view. Press the little button right there, it goes back to your normal screen. Now to shut it off, you press this guy for a second, and you flick that over, and it goes off. This is the newest technology. This is not a jailbroken iPod. I am considered a tech. I do know my ways around a lot of things. Or a tech head, whatever you want to call me. I know a lot about computers and technology. Obviously I wouldn't own all this if I didn't. Why I mentioned jailbreaking iPods is because that's the newest thing. What happens is they revert the software back to an older version of the software so that they can put their own software such as games, emulators, and things like that on there. But same thing with this. If you go on to a website or anybody's network, let's say you're driving around and somebody has an unsecured network, why you would have an unsecured network, I don't know. You would have an IP address on this, such as you would on a computer, and if somebody saw you, they would know, hey, you're on my computer, and they can send a message to your iPod saying, get off my network. This is actually a way kids can bring viruses into school, and people can bring viruses into the workplace. I'm not telling you how exactly, because I don't want you to do it. I don't want to be a part of that. I know how to do it. I'm not explaining how to do it. Anyways, off the iPod Touch, onto my PC.